Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andre, and I guess I don't know. I don't really have to say it's Andre or Chokenator for my stream because I'm streaming right now, but I'm also recording a little VOD for YouTube, VOD, video on demand. People still say VOD. I still say VOD, but it's just a video. Anyway, I want this to be a little bit of a vlog where I can vent a little bit, and I feel like I need to vent. I almost feel like I need a therapist, and I know YouTube viewers are not really a therapist, but um, life is life, and I just feel like I need some time to let things out. So anyway, I've been telling my stream that I just recently discovered, and I'm not going to get too specific here about my life, but I recently discovered that I there's a huge financial burden I'm going to have to take care of probably pretty soon. And you can see my donation goal uh at the bottom of the screen there, praying and begging that maybe someone will just give me $1 million so I can just be over with it. But that's probably not going to happen. I gotta hustle, basically, and I have to hustle for a lot in a short time. And at this point, I always felt like I had to do that, but at this point, it just feels it feels the most impossible it's ever felt. That's kind of what it feels like. Probably not true, but anyway, I have a couple job interviews. One today, one tomorrow. Today is more of an inquiry rather than a job interview. Tomorrow is an actual job interview, which I hope I get. It's actually an interview to be an art teacher. And I know a lot of you on YouTube actually follow my channel because I've taught you how to animate. And I don't really know if they have a digital art at that school program. Um, it's actually called OAM Studios. It's in Pleasanton and Tracy, California. And they teach kids art. They have a few different age groups, really, really young kids. I prefer older kids. Like I know they have like 12 and up uh, classes, and I think I would prefer to teach kids like that. But I'm gonna hash it all out with the owner. Let's see what he needs. But I'm really happy. He seemed pretty eager to interview me, and I'm pretty happy to. Hopefully, we can give each other a chance and figure out the best possible scenario for it. So the starting pay is only 15 an hour. It's like an after school program. I guess I don't really have. It's not a credentialed teaching organization. Um, so yeah, I hope I get the job too. Pigeon Milk Latte is here with me in the stream. Um, and pretty much I want to talk about like the freelance life, and I made quite a few videos about freelancing already. And I put in all this effort to make like a pricing algorithm to base. Yeah, hello YouTube people, says Pigeon Milk. Um, to base my pricing for my commissions on supply and demand. I studied a lot of business, um, and I created a business model that I thought was able to work. But the thing I didn't take into account, and the thing that's very, very difficult for me, I think the greatest challenge for me as a human being, and it's always been a challenge for as long as I've known. Um, I want to call it work ethic. Maybe I think it's work ethic, but it's not just that. It's a little bit deeper than that because work ethic means a lot of things, and I think I have a work ethic, but I'm distracted so easily by my emotions, by dopamine, by things that distract me. Whatever that is. It could be YouTube, it could be games, it could even be some something I'm working on and then I just want to work on something else. I don't really know. Like I wish I was a robot and just able to do the task that I'm supposed to do. And one of the big questions I've asked myself over the years, I think ever since I've been in high school, when I started noticing it, is like, why can't I do what I'm supposed to do? Why can't I just sit down and do it? And I've tried to like look on YouTube. Like people call it like life hacks and stuff. How do you hack your dopamine? How do you uh how do you hack your work ethic? I've seen some videos from like Alex Becker, I think was the guy. I was watching some videos and he talked about dopamine detoxing and stuff like that. Maybe I need one of those. I don't really know. But I'm looking for an answer to that big question because I know there's a ton of things I have to do. And to separate my emotional, like I'm an emotional person. I'm a sensitive person. And how am I able to separate that part of me or like somehow fuse that part of me with the part that needs to just get down, knuckle down, put the hammer down, whatever you call it, and just, get in the field and just work for those hours. And it's hard to just do that. And I know I was kind of venting to the stream a bit about like complaining a bit about this American life that I'm we're born into. You know, obviously, I have to be thankful. I have to show gratitude. You know, it's a beautiful country. We're free in this country. But the price of that freedom is like, you know, the people who are rich or whatever, or I don't even want to blame the rich. I'm not that kind of person to blame rich people. But I do understand people's complaints that people who have advantages with money almost unfairly seem to have this life where they don't really, well, they don't have to work as hard as we do at the bottom. And I'm not going to say I'm at the bottom either. I'm definitely not. Again, I have to be grateful. I think showing gratitude is really, really an important thing in like getting my like wrapping my mind around like my life right now, and the and the financial burdens that I have to take on in the near future. Um, yeah, freedom always has a price, and the price, like what I've learned, uh, there was actually an interview between Lex Friedman. I love Lex Friedman's podcast. I think he's a Russian American guy, moved to America after his family escaped from the communist regime in the Soviet Union. He moved to America and he loves the American people and the country. And he really brings smart people onto his podcasts, like super smart people, and really or just very special people. And so he and Jordan Peterson recently interviewed a girl named Yeonmi Park, Yeonmi Park, Park. And basically she is an escapee from North Korea. And she was talking about what life is like there. And I actually just recently answered like a questionnaire about North Korea too. There, like, I have a friend who's living in Korea, and she sent me like this, like a questionnaire asking like, what are your opinions on North Korea? I guess wondering like it's a research project, wondering like what foreigners think of North Korea and South Korea. And it was asking me like, what do I think about Korean unification? What is my perception of North Korea, stuff like that. And I had to be honest, and I said like, from what I gather, North Korea seems like a very desolate, bleak, place where the people are oppressed and starving, and the dictatorship has control over every single decision they make, the way they feel, the decisions they make, the information that they have. Um, from what I understand, that's what it is. And so when I was hearing her stories, and she had very, very terrible stories about what it was like living there, very scary stories. Um, and I was listening to those, and I knew I had to be grateful for what I had. I knew I was like, I have a lot of struggles, but there's no way I can, not be grateful for the country I live in. But that said, no country is perfect, and I think they kind of talked about that too in the podcast. No country is perfect. Every country has its problems, and in America, like the price of just being alive, it's so heavy. Um, and I know Jordan Peterson talks about this too, where he says suffering is kind of the default of life, and I know that's kind of a Buddhist philosophy too. It's kind of a Buddhist notion that you suffer by default, and it is noble to try to reduce that suffering. And I think, I was kind of raised by parents who kind of spoiled me, whether they realize it or not. They really gave me a lot in life, and I think that's a beautiful thing. It's a good thing for parents to want to make their children happy and show them that they love them, that they have a good life. And I'm thankful, they're probably thankful too that they worked hard for that, for me and for my brother and sister, and that we were able to live this life where we didn't have to struggle in the same ways that they did. And I think it was a quote from, I think, John Adams. I just saw this quote like today or something. It's like, I studied diplomacy and warfare so that my son can study trade and commerce, and he studies trade and commerce so that his son can study art and music. And it's really funny that the last one is art and music, because maybe it's not a necessity in life, but it does bring beauty and joy to life. And here I am, I'm an artist, right? And the reason I chose to be an artist is because I wanted to share people beauty and joy. The things that I grew up with a kid in a comfortable life watching cartoons and falling in love with anime and video games and a lot of stuff that's kind of considered degenerate in a way, but it's enjoyable and I want to be one of the people in this world that provides that. And I hope that I am in a way already. I'm not really an entertainer per se, but I am a streamer and a YouTuber, and I'm watching content, and you're listening to this, and I'm kind of contributing to that in a way. Showbiz. Uh, and one thing I love about drawing is a smile on a person's face who gets said drawing. Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly it too. I want when I draw, I want to bring happiness to people's faces. Like even this, what I'm working on, this girl dancing, is a commission for a guy. It's his original character, not mine, but I helped him design her, and he really makes she I say she because it's a girl, even though it's not a real person, but she makes him happy. He loves his character, uh, and she wants to see he wants to see the character dance, and so I'm drawing her dancing, and it's gonna put a smile on his face, and it's gonna make him happy, and he's gonna have value out of it, and that's the value of art. Like we create something beautiful if it's beautiful to at least one person, then I think it has value as art, you know. And I'm enjoying this piece. The neck should be a bit thinner. But yeah, so back to the John Adams quote. So I am the son that is drawing art and music. And what are my parents? My parents have professional jobs, um, which they studied hard to move from the Philippines to the U.S. to give their children a good life, and they've succeeded in that. But what now? It's like maybe the cycle isn't complete. Maybe I can't just do art and music willy nilly because it's that field is still going to be a competitive field, and I still can't treat it like it's just something. And I don't, by the way. I've always known I need to treat this career like a professional, and I need to be competitive, and I need to want to be the best. Um, but like the reality of it is that what if I had just studied warfare and diplomacy? Would I be needed in this world? I mean, probably. I mean, we still need those people to keep the world safe and to keep the peaceful times that I was brought up in, to keep those safe, to protect those lifestyles. But ultimately, it's never over. The fight per se, if I want to call it a fight, because it's not necessarily a real fight, a real war. Some people might call it that, but ultimately that's figurative speaking. It's still a metaphor. We're not fighting an actual war. So what I mean by the fight, and I need to just grit my teeth and take care of the responsibilities that are put before me, no matter how unfair they might seem. And that's what I'm realizing right now. I'm 31 years old, and there are probably a lot of people who know this a lot younger than me. Um, but what I'm learning is that I could complain about things being unfair, but rather I want to be grateful for the things that I may or may not, the things that I didn't earn. I want to be grateful for the things that I didn't earn, the blessings that I didn't earn. I, I could say God gave them to me. I could say my parents gave them to me. I could say that history and the history of my country made it so that our forefathers gave me a life that is worth living right now, a life that is beautiful and full of joy and full of happiness. Um, but that's not to say that fight is over. And growing into adulthood, there are a lot of things that can still be corrected. Um, and I don't just mean in the country as a whole or where I live. It's more in my own life. I think I see a lot of things that I could work on, and if I work on those, then in turn the world will be a better place. If I can't fix the world. This is another Jordan Peterson quote. I can't fix the world, but I can fix myself, and I need a lot of fixing. Being honest, I especially work ethic, financially, and my skill level and everything, my knowledge, my usefulness. Like I learned recently that I barely know how to maintain a car. I ran out of coolant over the past weekend on a drive during a hot drive. I got low on coolant. That's very dangerous for my engine. and I'm just kind of on a fast track to learning these things that maybe when I was a kid, my dad tried to teach me how to make cars. I think he did, but I was kind of like either bored or resistant, and I just thought, I just kind of want to live my life and do what I want. But the reality is, and especially now that I'm an adult, my parents are getting old. I can't just do what I want, all the time. Of course, I have dreams. Of course, I want my career to be something where it's something that I enjoy, and and in a way, I already have that. But it's not thanks to my own efforts that I have that. It's thanks to my parents. It's thanks to people who came before me in making this country and this state of California, even, or the city that I live in. It's the people, like all intertwined, that worked hard to create this life that I'm living right now, which is quite blessed. Um, so what right do I have to complain about like I don't want to invalidate my own negative feelings, and I don't want to invalidate anyone's, but I think gratitude is so important for me in keeping my head afloat, that there are people who like helped me get here, and all of the pain and stress and struggle that I'm feeling now. Um, and uh, it's like something that I have to get through it, but it's like um, it's still on me to like maintain it. Just like my parents fought hard to maintain what they gave me. Um, what's up, Greg? By the way, I'm recording a YouTube video. This is a bit of a vlog. Um, so yeah, that's kind of like what I'm going through right now. Big financial burdens, huge, huge, huge financial burdens. I didn't anticipate them to again. I didn't anticipate them to come this soon, but they are here, and I got to deal with them, and it's gonna be rough. So anyone listening, just give me $1 million. No, I'm just kidding. YouTube stream, but that's how I feel. I just like you just have this wish that something can happen, that the RNG of the world, that God will just somehow bless you out of this, and it's not likely going to happen. I mean, they say faith of a mustard seed can move mountains, right? That's kind of what they taught us in the Bible, right? If we just have faith, it'll happen. But at the same time, I've already been given so much, and maybe the faith that I need to have is the faith that I as a person will improve myself from fighting this struggle, which is hardly even a struggle in comparison to the people who came before me in generations past. Again, not trying to invalidate modern struggles or my own struggle, and not to invalidate my own pain, but rather to be grateful for what came before me. I think, um, yeah, I mean, you're right, Greg, but it's still what I need right now. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, that amount of money is probably what I'm gonna have to owe sometime soon for one reason or another. Uh, and yeah, that's not uncommon in America, especially in California. That's not uncommon. Um, so yeah, I'm looking to make a lot of changes. I have a job interview on Wednesday. Uh, I'm looking. I'm looking to make sacrifices too. There are going to be a lot of things I won't be able to do, but there's still a lot of opportunities. My brain has always been trained well to see opportunity. And I'm a gamer, right? Sometimes you have to be patient and wait for opportunities, and they do come. Like, for example, I did get a table at SAC Anime. It's gonna be on my birthday, September 3rd through the 5th in Sacramento. And that's always great potential to meet people, to network, and to sell art. Um, all those things are great positives. It's a wonderful event. Those comic conventions are celebrations of the art of the industry that I work in. They're celebrations of comics and cartoons and animation, and the value that they have for people. And the fact that those exist is the same reason that Disneyland exists, because people love, um, I guess, escaping into a different world where there is hope, and they can live vicariously through these characters that have their own struggles, and in most of the stories, the characters are able to triumph in those struggles. Now, in the world we live in, it's so much harder. It's so much harder than anime, right? We don't have a superpower to generate energy and shoot a beam out of our eyes or whatever, or our hands. We do have a lot of ability though. And I think the great message in a lot of those anime, especially shonen anime, is like you have what you have, do your best with it, believe in it. Like believe. I think believing is so hard. I think I think every anime says like believe in yourself, and that's the power, right? And that's so hard to do, especially when in this world you feel like you've failed so many times. And that's how I feel a lot of the time. I feel like I've failed in a lot of ways. And I feel like a lot of life is just kind of trying to make up for those failures. And it feels impossible to simply just start from scratch. It feels like you always have to make up for something you did before. And how can you possibly have gotten it right in the beginning? We're just kids, and that's kind of how I feel. But at the same time, I do in a way want to give myself a fresh mental start. And I think having a job, getting a new job, will be a great way to do that. Especially if I'm going to be teaching art to kids, it's going to be. I think it can be a very joyful and fulfilling experience. So that's like where I'm at right now. Um, yeah. So I don't know how much more I can say, but that's kind of like where I am mentally. YouTube, and I thank you guys also. I know I've been uploading like a bunch of the Nuzlocke videos for Pokemon, a bunch of random gardening videos. I'm just trying to get more content up, and I know you guys do appreciate the time lapses like this because this is not really a time lapse. Well, it is a time lapse, but it's not really a fast forwarded time lapse, speed paint as they call it. This is just me drawing in real time, and I know some of you asked for like real time drawing videos, so this is here. It is. Here's me working on some animation. Not super concentrating on it. I mean, I could be faster, I would say. I've only been able to do like a few frames here. This character is also very detailed, which is kind of makes it hard to do a lot of frames. Which kind of sucks because the original character's design is even more detailed than this. Even this is like a kind of shorthand design um, for the character. And as a rule of thumb, when you animate a character, they should be simple. Um, they should be simple designs. So I kind of broke that rule here, but the commissioner really wanted to make sure that I capture the character that we designed, um, and I wouldn't really mind it, but I would have preferred if I priced this one more steeply because of the number of frames that are there. You can see down here there's over 50 frames, so but it is what it is. I'm just gonna finish it, just keep doing with it. I think the result's gonna come out great. Yeah. Anyway, um, yeah, YouTube. Thank you for listening. I don't know if I have that much more to say, but that's kind of where I am at mentally. Gotta struggle, gotta fight. I want to fight for that freedom. I think the great message I got out from that Lex Friedman Yeonmi Park interview is that any kind of freedom you have to keep fighting for it. You feel like you have it sometimes, but a lot of times you feel like you don't. And the only way to keep that sense of freedom that you have is just to really fight for it. Um, and yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight. I it's hard to believe in myself. It's hard to believe that such obstacles can be overcome. Um, and whether or not I actually succeed in it, what's important is that I keep trying and keep fighting. And I think venting to you guys about this is what's helping me center myself because I need to talk it out. I'm an extrovert, and I need people to give me feedback. I need people to listen. That really helps me a lot. So that's the reason for making this little vlog. So YouTube, thank you guys. Thanks for listening. I'll see you later.